Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to Football Discussions. Today, we're going to be taking a look at who I think are the top 10 wide receivers going into the 2019 NFL season. Again, this is just who I think are the best receivers present day going into 2019, not what they've done 2 years ago, not what they've done 3 years ago, not what they've done throughout their entire career. Just who I think are the most explosive and are going to put up the best stats in the 2019 NFL season. So getting right into it, we have at number 10, Brandon Cooks of the Los Angeles Rams. He's a consistently good player. Last season put up 80 receptions with 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like I said, ever since he got drafted by New Orleans back in 2014, he's just been a consistently good guy. Explosive speed, one of the fastest guys in the NFL, and just a great receiver in today's NFL. So it was a bit challenging picking a guy for number 10. I wanted to go with guys like Adam Thielen and Diggs, but I just stuck it with Cooks because I think he's, like I've said this a lot so far, but he's just a consistently good player. At number 9, I went with Keenan Allen, another guy who's just consistently good. Last year had 97 receptions for basically 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. And a thing that really stood out to me is going into more technical stats. He has a 71% catch percentage, which means 71% of the time when he's targeted, he catches the football, and that's a very high catch percentage. So it just shows that how consistent he is. And also in 2019, he has Mike Williams, who really emerged as a great wide receiver at the back end of the 2018 season, and of course Hunter Henry now comes back for the Chargers. Just more guys to take attention off of Keenan, which will get him more one-on-one scenarios, and he's very good in those. So I think his numbers will be even better in 2019 than they were in 2018. Then moving right along to number 8, we have JuJu SmithSchuster, my favorite player in the NFL. Just a really good wide receiver. He put up shockingly good stats last year. When I was looking over them, I didn't even think I was not expecting to see stats this good. But he had 111 receptions, which was 7th in the NFL, and the most on the Pittsburgh Steelers, more than Antonio Brown. Not only that, but he put up the fifth most receiving yards in the NFL with basically 1,450 yards. Also most on Steelers in that category, and he also had 7 touchdowns. And he didn't even start all of the 16 games that he played. So, I mean, it just shows you how good he can be, and he has so much room to grow. And I think he's gonna be definitely even a top 5 guy at the end of 2019. Just a lot of success, and now that he's the number 1 guy on the Steelers, his targets should only increase. So big things coming JuJu SmithSchuster's way in 2019. At number 7, I know this is going to make a lot of people angry, but as I was looking over everyone in all the wide receivers in the NFL, I had to put Odell at number 7. He only played 12 games last year, and if you ask me, I know Giants fans aren't going to agree, but the injury he had, quote unquote, he very easily could have played through. I think he was being soft. I think he wanted to just focus on next season and didn't care about how his team did in 2018. And then on top of all of that, he did have a good year going. He had 1,000 yards, 77 receptions, and 6 touchdowns. Like I said, it was only 12 games that he played. But if we look at his last season, that he was 100% healthy, that was 2016, and he had 1,367 yards and 10 touchdowns, which are very good numbers. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of the guys that you'll see coming up on this list had better numbers than that in their 2018 season. So that's why Odell hasn't been fully healthy for 2 years, and I couldn't stick him in the top 5 because of that. I really haven't seen much of him. Again, he wasn't healthy, but over the past 2 years, I haven't seen him play enough. That all being said, I think he can be very good on the Browns. I think moving from the Giants will be good for him. But that's why he's at 7. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I stuck him at 7 for all of those reasons. For number 6, I went with Mike Evans. He had 86 receptions, which was 17th in the NFL. But with those 86 receptions, he had shockingly good numbers. He had his really flew under the radar last year, but had his best season of his career. He put up 1,500 yards, which was third in the NFL. He had 8 touchdowns. And those stats that I just mentioned are better than Odell's best season, which was 2015, where he put up 1,450 yards, and Mike Evans had 1,500 yards in 2018. So even compared to Odell's best season, Mike Evans 2018 was better than that. So just another reason why I put Mike Evans above OBJ. And he did all of this in less targets than OBJ ever got. And I don't want to be sitting here comparing Mike Evans to OBJ, but I know a lot of people are going to disagree with OBJ at 7. So that's why I wanted to make it clear why I decided to put Mike Evans at 6. At 5, Davante Adams, I put. He had 111 receptions, same as Odell. They were tied for 6th. He had 1,386 yards, which was 7th in the NFL. And on top of all of that, he had 13 touchdowns, which was 2nd in the NFL. A really good wide receiver, one of the most consistent guys I've ever seen. And I mentioned consistency a little earlier with Brandon Cooks. But if you look at Davante Adams' yards per game, the majority of the time he's getting more than 75 yards, and that's just what you want in an NFL wide receiver. I mean, he's just so amazing at what he does, and just like I said, very consistent. So I stuck him at 5. For number 4, I chose Julio Jones. Jones had 113 receptions, which was 4th in the NFL. He had 1,677 yards, which was the receiving yards title last year in the NFL, meaning he was first. And he had 8 touchdowns, lying at 13th in the NFL. He had a really good year last year. But the reason I couldn't put him at 3 or 2 or 1 is because the guys I have there I see doing better in 2019 than Julio is. I think Julio's numbers are going to decrease the more Calvin Ridley increases. And if Mohamed Sanu comes out fully healthy, then he should be getting targets too. So while Julio in no means will have a bad 2019, I just see the next 3 people having a better 2019 than Julio. At number 3, I went with Antonio Brown. Don't get me wrong, Antonio Brown is my least favorite person in the NFL. I'm not a fan of his. But when it comes to his play as a receiver, there's no denying how good he is. He had 104 receptions, which was 9th in the NFL last year, 1,297 yards, which was 11th. But although those stats were towards the bottom of the top 10, he did have 15 touchdowns, which was first in the NFL, and I feel like he does that year in and year out. I mean, he's such an end zone machine. He gets so many touchdowns every year, and that's what really boosted him up in this list. Not to mention, I think he'll shine on the Raiders now that he's out of the Steelers. I think he really likes that organization so far. I think Gruden's going to be good for him, kind of cool him down a bit. And I like what the Raiders are building over there in Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas. But I think Antonio Brown will have a great 2019 season. Number 2, I went with DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins had a fantastic season last year, and I think these numbers will only increase in 2019. He had 11 touchdowns, which was 5th in the NFL, 115 receptions, which was 3rd, and 1,572 yards, which was 2nd in the NFL. Not to mention he had a 70% catch percentage, which was 5th in the NFL. So that just goes to show how consistent he is as a wide receiver, and just so much talent that this guy has. And in my mind, he's the best jump ball wide receiver in the NFL. The throws that Deshaun Watson made to him last year, I mean, it was a bunch of jump balls, and he came down with the majority of them. Even this image is, if you guys remember that Dolphin game, was an insane catch. So I just think D-Hop has such a bright future in Houston and is going to have a great 2019 season. Finally, with our number 1 wide receiver for the 2019 season, we went with Michael Thomas. Thomas had a fantastic season last year, 125 receptions, which was first in the NFL, 9 touchdowns, which was 10th, and 1,400 yards, which was 6th. And the thing that I really wanted to focus on here is how consistent he is when Drew Brees throws him the football. He had an 85% catch percentage, which was by far the first in the NFL. I feel like whenever Drew throws and it shows up on tape too, whenever Drew throws him the football, Michael Thomas comes down with it. He's just such a good receiver, one of the best route runners I've seen, and is just so fantastic at bringing that ball in anytime it's thrown up to him. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video of football discussions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time.